Hello, everybody in YouTube world. We've got a few questions today regarding struts and a couple of particular doors. They're from Ron. Ron asked point blank, that I mentioned struts in a video. What are they? We'll get to that in a minute. As far as the door goes, it says we are considering to install a Wayne Dalton 8300, an 18 by 8 overhead garage door, and have picked up quite a few tips from your videos that would lead us to seriously consider an upgrade to the 8500. I don't like the water trap along the bottom of the 8500 door, however. The 8300 has better means of shedding water, particularly for cold climates. Now, as to the struts, we want this 18-foot door to have 3 windows to match what is happening in the building on the floor above. I presume that would mean that the door would have to have 2 struts between the center window and each of the adjacent windows. As I see it, one center strut would run right through the center of the window and probably would be insufficient to support an 18-foot door. Is that correct? Is it better to go with a 4 or 5 panel door? I prefer the looks of a 5 panel door, but the 5 panel door is probably more expensive. It also appears that the Wayne Dalton 8300 and 8500 series do not come as an option for 3 windows. Are you aware of a door manufacturer that offers this option? Thank you for the informative series, Ron. I will send you right on over to Uncle Dave. Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you, wife, for reading that off for me. I really appreciate it. So here's the thing. I'm glad Ron brought this up. I love the emails. So you guys just remember, if you have anything, you'd be surprised what it brings up in my memory. So email me at the Daveadubson@gmail.com. I typically put it in the description below. Just hit me up. Like I said, I love this kind of stuff. So here's the thing. I think we could actually kind of fix it, right? I think because the weather seal is a U-shape that cups around the 8500 Wayne Dalton, I don't think I would totally throw it to the wind because it does collect water. Now, here's a picture, right? If you put a gutter on this building, it's going to help shed that water, because a lot of times what can happen is water hits the concrete, it bounces, it hits the garage door, and then it runs down. So if you do some kind of gutter, or depending on which way the roof pitches on the building, that's going to help somewhat too, right? Now, here's another thing. You might have to ask the technician or maybe verify it. It's one of those things that's kind of like, too bad I just can't get the door sent there in a sense, because I know a lot of the tricks for these. But here's one thing you could probably do. On the bottom of the seal, right, take a little a little drill and put some holes in it. Just, 3, 4, 5, 6 across the bottom, whatever makes it feel comfortable. Disguise it though. Put them in the corner, right, of that bottom seal, just to help for drainage, right? And maybe so it'll drain somewhat on the outside. That might just help a little bit. Now, as long as you get it up there good, which I'd always recommend pulling the bottom seal out, put screws underneath, put screws on the backside. That's kind of the weakest thing. Otherwise, for the 8500, I love the door. The door is a great door. I love the thickness, a thicker door. It feels more solid, especially going 18 by 8. So, if it was me reading this email, I'd probably go the 8500. Okay, so kind of talking about the struts here, right? I prefer on an 18 by 8, and some of you guys, you seasoned vets out there, like I said, anything I miss in this email and that, please put it in the comment below. Let's help this gentleman out. So here's the thing, right? I want struts on every section all the way through. I think sometimes certain people call them wind-loaded rated, as how you kind of get it to be strutted up. But for me, I want a strut. You can go, they normally do 2-inch. You can go 3-inch. 3-inch might be a little overkill. 2-inch strut, though, maybe a 3-inch would be better. Like I said, some of my seasoned vet guys know, put it in the comment below. 3 inches stick out a little farther. They're normally made to go over the TS 200 Wayne Dalton, the ones that are built-in ribs. But anyways, I want struts across this whole thing. Like a picture right here, this is an AMAR, but you can kind of see there's struts. If you look right across, I go across the whole section completely, not partially or anything. They go from end to end on the panel width-wise. Like I said, I want struts across the whole thing. That's just how I do it. Another thing, if you're going to go, I prefer a 5-section. And yes, typically a 5-section, I think anytime I've ever priced them, always costs more. But a 5-section, it's smaller pieces going through the radius. So in my opinion, a 5-section door runs a heck of a lot smoother, a heck of a lot better. So if it's me and it's going to be my personal house or a house I'm going to keep or a house I'm taking pride in, not a spec home, a rental flip, I'm going to go with a 5-section versus a 4-section because they just run so much smoother. They're a little bit more, but everything is always kind of like the devil's in the details, like I've always talked about, right? And you got an initial stock that you got to get up to this price. Spend just a little bit more money and you'll get just a little bit better product. Not a little bit, you'll get a lot better product. Like the struts, right? Struts across all sections, make it a lot stronger. That's looking out for the future. It's cheap insurance, right? A 5-section just runs better. It's easier on the door. It's easier on the opener. Just do the 5-section. So on the windows, I don't particularly know a manufacturer. Maybe one of my people in the community here would know that where you can get a three window section. It might be like a custom order. Here's one way to maybe get around it. You could order a flush door. You order a flush door, it's just going to have the wood grain look to it, right? It's not going to have the squares or the ranch panels or anything like on it. Like I said, you're gonna need a professional for this. But you could order the windows separately, either the elongated ranch style ones or the short colonial style windows, and you could have them install them themselves. Now, like I said, we're talking this is extra money. It's extra. This is custom work. So it's going to be a little pricey, right? And you got to make sure somebody's, feels confident in doing it too, because it's, they got to measure it out and make it look, symmetrical. So that's my only option. Maybe you'd have to order the door. Like I said, I'd probably order the door. And another thing just to think about is you might want to upcycle the springs. They're typically going to come with a 10,000 cycle spring. Maybe you want to go to a 20, 25, whatever they recommend. Do a wind-loaded rated door, right? So it's got struts on all the sections. And that way it's engineered, right? That's one thing people forget too. Oh, I'll add them on. I'll go get them later. This, that. No. You want it to be engineered from the manufacturer. So the springs work, the cables, drums, everything is working. Also see if there's any upgrades for rollers. I don't know if they're going to do silent glide with those. They might do the nylon roller bearings. If they got anything for upgrade for hinges. Like I said, these are things that are another 20, 40, 60 bucks, but I'm telling you, it'll go a long ways. So just make sure that if there's any upgrades you can do, at least weigh them out. You know what I mean? Like I said, the silent glide rollers that Wayne Dalton provides, I wouldn't do those. Like I said, it's just a metal stud on a plastic piece of this. There's no bearings in it. So after about 5 years, they start making a lot of noise. They're just kind of garbage. So anyways, like I said, that might be an option with windows though. Order them separate, cut them in, do a flush door. But if you want to do a colonial style short panel, that's going to be tough because you're supposed to line the windows up with the squares or elongated range panels. Just my 2 cents. So Ron, just kind of reading through your email, I don't think I'd be too afraid to go with the 8500. Like I said, the pitfall, yeah, the water. Like I said, it might dribble a little bit once you open it. It normally is not. It doesn't seem like it freezes. It's just a matter of getting it anchored to the bottom. I don't think it would stop me. Like I said, the only one thing I had was a customer complain one time that made it look like their door was open. It was a high-end kind of elevated neighbor was complaining, saying something about it. That was our biggest issue, right? Otherwise, it just looks like a little black strip down there. It's really not the end of the world. But like I said, you might be able to put a couple little drill holes in it to help get some of that water out of there. And like I said, your eaves are the big thing, right? It's a matter of how much water, how big the eaves are. You got 2 foot, you got 4 foot, you got gutters, all that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate the email, and you're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? You're asking the questions. So my hat off to you for that. And I really appreciate the email, like I said, because you're looking out. You're getting intel, and that's a smart thing to do. So anywho, if you guys have anything for Ron, like I said, put it in the comments below. And otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button if you don't mind your way out. Become a subscriber. And we'll see you in the next one. And make sure you keep your fingers, you guys. Take care. Adios.